So what if I told you that an ancient fruit, one that's been used for centuries in traditional medicine, might actually hold the key to some of our biggest modern health challenges? Well, today, that's exactly what we're digging into. We're talking about the Jamun fruit, where that ancient wisdom is finally getting its moment in the scientific spotlight. Let's break down the incredible research, shall we?
I mean, that description really paints a picture, doesn't it? Tastes like summer. And Jamun, you might also know it as the Java plum, is absolutely delicious. But here's the thing. It's so much more than just a sweet treat. It has this incredibly rich history in traditional medicine. And now, finally, science is starting to catch up and figure out why it's so special.
Okay, so what exactly gives this little purple power fruit its edge? Let's dive in and take a look at what's going on inside.
All right, so if you look at a 100-gram serving, that's a decent handful. It's surprisingly light. We're talking only about 60 calories. But don't let that number fool you, because it's absolutely packed with good stuff like vitamin C, fiber, and some key minerals. But the real star of the show, you see that deep purple color? That comes from compounds called anthocyanins, and these guys are potent antioxidants, working their magic all throughout your body.
Okay, but now let's get to what Jamun is probably most famous for. We're talking about its really fascinating connection to blood sugar management. And believe me, this is where the scientific story gets super compelling.
So you have to ask, right? What's the actual science behind all this traditional wisdom? Well, what researchers have found is that it's not just one single thing. It's more like a powerful three-part story that explains exactly why Jamun seems to be so effective for, glycemic control.
And what's cool is how it all works together. It's this combination that really builds on itself. So first, we're going to look at the fruit's basic interaction with our bodies. Then we'll dive into the specific compounds that are doing all the heavy lifting. And finally, we'll get to the proof, the actual hard data from human clinical trials.
Okay, first up, it's glycemic index, or GI. Now, the easiest way to think about GI is as a measure of how fast a food creates a sugar rush in your body. You know those high GI foods? They cause that sharp spike and then the inevitable crash. But Jamun, it's got a low GI. So instead of a spike, it creates this slow, gentle rise. You get stable energy without that awful roller coaster ride.
All right, second, and this is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about the bioactive powerhouses tucked away inside the fruit and its seeds. Now, I know names like Jambolan and ellagic acid, they sound like something straight out of a chemistry textbook, right? But what they do is actually beautifully simple. They help slow down how quickly sugar gets absorbed, and they improve your body's own sensitivity to insulin. It's a 1-2 punch. Now, all of this sounds fantastic in theory, but the big question is always, does it actually work in the real world? Well, let's take a look at the data from a human trial that put Jamun seed powder to the test.
And wow, the results they're pretty striking. So in a 90-day trial, the average blood sugar level after a meal absolutely plummeted from around 242 down to 199. And let's be clear, that is not just a small dip. That is a clinically significant improvement. That's the real deal.
And what's so fascinating here is that this effect wasn't like an overnight thing. It was progressive. You can see it right here on the chart. After 30 days, there was a noticeable drop. By 60 days, things were looking even better. And by the end of the full 90-day study, fasting glucose had dropped by nearly 30%. This just shows a consistent, cumulative benefit that builds up over time.
But believe it or not, the benefits don't just stop with blood sugar. It turns out those very same antioxidant powerhouses that are working so hard on the inside of our bodies also have this remarkable visible effect on the outside. We're talking about our skin.
Yep, it's that same amazing team of compounds doing all the work. Those anthocyanins, think of them like little bodyguards for your skin cells, shielding them from all sorts of environmental damage. At the exact same time, you've got vitamin C and tannins helping to build collagen, and collagen is basically the scaffolding that keeps your skin firm and youthful. It's no wonder the big cosmetic companies are starting to take notice and put this stuff in their anti-aging formulas.
Okay, so the obvious next question, right? How can you get these benefits? And this is a really important point. It is absolutely crucial to understand the difference between just eating the fresh fruit and using a concentrated supplement because they serve very, very different purposes.
So think of it like this. 2 different tools for 2 totally different jobs. The fresh fruit, it's a fantastic, nutrient-dense, low-sugar snack for your general wellness. It's great. But those powerful clinical effects on blood sugar that we just looked at, those results came from highly concentrated extracts, usually made from the seed. It's a huge distinction to remember.
And this brings us to what is maybe the most important warning of all. And please, listen carefully here. Because these extracts are so potent, you should never combine them with diabetes medication without talking to your doctor first. The risk is that your blood sugar could drop too low, and that's a seriously dangerous condition called hypoglycemia. So speaking with your doctor about this is absolutely 100% non-negotiable.
All right, we have covered a ton of ground here, from the basic nutrition all the way to clinical data. So what's the bottom line? What should you really take away from all this?
Okay, so let's boil it all down. First, Jamun is a fantastic, nutrient-rich, low-sugar fruit that's great for just about anyone's diet. Second, the seed extracts, they show incredible promise as a supportive tool for managing blood sugar. But, and this is key, it's not a replacement for medicine. Third, those awesome antioxidants also do wonders for your skin, protecting it and helping it glow. And finally, and maybe most importantly, always remember, eating a healthy snack is one thing, but taking a concentrated therapeutic supplement is something else entirely.
Which kind of brings us right back to where we started. Jamun is such a powerful reminder that sometimes the most effective solutions for our modern health problems might not come from a brand new lab. They might come from rediscovering the wisdom of the past. It really makes you wonder, doesn't it, what other ancient secrets are just waiting out there for science to finally unlock?